In this video, I'll give you a full framework for how to start your self-improvement journey. I'm going to show you how to set goals in a way that you haven't heard before, in shorter periods of time. I'm going to show you how to create a sustainable routine that you can actually keep going at, where you can actually set ambitious goals and actually reach them instead of overstretching yourself. And I'm going to show you some specific habits that you can do to reach your goals faster. So these results won't come fast. Self-improvement never is fast, but you will see some very, very real results. So let's get into it. This video is for you if you can relate to this story. A few years ago, I was at the lowest point of my life, honestly. I was at a boarding school and I was this shy, skinny, insecure kid who was so insecure that I wouldn't even be comfortable having my own opinions. My decision-making strategy was to look around what other people were doing and then mirror that, and I would end up getting picked on quite a bit because I was too insecure to say anything to it, and I was like this skinny little kid, so I ended up being like the punching bag for some of the bigger guys because they could throw me around and I wouldn't do much about it. And that was probably the lowest period of my life, where I would compulsively eat candy because I was in this place, and my social life was kind of just very active, but with some people who I didn't even really like being around, and I'd end up being a punching bag for that. And it ended up culminating at the end of the year when we were saying our goodbyes. They were doing it a tenting trip, so we'd go and sleep over in tents at a completely different place, and I just broke completely down there. I just started crying all the time, and I'd go hide literally because I couldn't be near other people, and I was just so that was my only proper anxiety attack I had there, because I was in a different environment, and I was so ready for that year to be over. And to go from that to, that was the crucible in which I was forged, that boarding school. And I wouldn't have had it any other way, no matter how difficult it was. It still forced me to be the person that I am today. It got me into the gym. It got, that's the biggest change it made for me. It got me on this self-improvement journey to the point where now I put on 10 kilos of muscle. I put on a ton of good habits. I'm nowhere near as insecure. I don't have anxiety anymore. I thought that was a thing you just had and you couldn't do anything about it. I haven't felt that anxiety at all since then. And I'd like to give you 3 pieces of advice for how to start your self-improvement journey and how to get out of that low point. Okay, the first thing I need you to understand, so you won't overstretch yourself, is the concept of profession, obsession, and decompression, and how to use that in your life. So I was a dumbass at this concept. I'm just going to start with a story here. I was a dumbass at this, where I would go, and I'd read the book Think and Grow Rich because it had been recommended to me on the internet. And it's a pretty good book, but it talks about how you should set very realistic goals and think a lot about your goals. And then it's kind of like the first book on the law of attraction, where if you think about something enough, your subconscious mind will start working with you to achieve it. So I wrote down my goals, and it said to set big, ambitious, clear goals. So I thought, okay, I'm going to be earning $10,000 by the end of the month. Mind you, I was 16. That was such a ridiculous goal. I'm going to weigh 80 kg or something like ridiculous, like 75 kg by the end of the year. I had no idea how much muscle you could gain, how fast. And I'd keep going like this, setting ridiculously ambitious goals in like 10 different areas of my life. And all of them were goals that you could, like, they were ambitious goals, but they were realistic goals that could realistically be accomplished. But I decided to write down like 10 different goals, 10 different ambitious goals in 10 different areas of my life, and achieve them all in the same year. That's really the problem. I didn't segment my life into like, okay, I'm focusing on doing this right now, and then I'll focus on doing that. I want to do it all at the same time. So what the framework profession, obsession, and decompression is you have 3 different areas of your life. You have your profession. That is like the thing you do that makes your world go around. That could be your school, work, or your business. That's like the options there. Then you have your obsession, which is the thing you do next to your profession that you can also really focus in on and really get good at. So this could be your side hustle. This could be a sport you do. This could be working out, going to the gym. And then decompression is kind of like the things you do to give you energy for the other 2, to like help you decompress and to help you gain more energy to handle the other 2. It could be meditation. That's having a proper sleep routine, eating right, doing something meditative to like help you relax. And you should only have these 3 areas. You should try to sort out other stuff from your life, and you shouldn't let these 3 things overlap either. So while you're doing your work on your business, you don't also want to be thinking about your sport, or like while you're doing homework, let's say your profession is school right now. You don't also want to be thinking about, you don't want to be doing homework while at the same time trying to be on, like, thinking about homework while you're on a walk to decompress. You want to separate these things to help you be more focused. Because if you're 100% focused on each thing as you're doing it, you will have so much more return on investment from doing those things. But if you let them like melt together, they won't have nearly the same effect. The reason why I have these 3 categories is now every time I have something new I want to start doing, like just recently I rediscovered the Wim Hof method. He talks a lot about doing a cold exposure, like cold showers, and he talks a lot about breath work. And I got really excited, and I thought, okay, I'm going to implement that. But then I looked at my profession, obsession, decompression, and how much I'd already put into my life recently, and I already committed to doing these videos daily. I'd already committed to working out daily in the morning. I'd already kind of committed myself for this period of time. So I thought, okay, I'm going to write this down, but I'm not going to go all in on that right now, because I wouldn't have the capacity. Whereas the old me would have gone, okay, let's do it, and then he'd like put it onto an already oversaturated life, and I'd try to juggle too many balls at the same time and just end up dropping all of it all the time. And now I'm so much better at not loading too much stuff onto my life, so it's actually sustainable. I think it's also worth mentioning that if your profession is school, like it's a 9-to-5 or school, and you also want to build a side hustle, and you want to build that up to be financially free, that's already your profession, your obsession that's taken. So I would actually advise against also going to the gym for that period of time where you're trying to make that work, because that is such a big commitment, going to the gym, both in time and in knowledge investment, because you have to know so much about how to do the exercise correctly. You have to plan so much. So I would actually recommend against going to the gym. If you're trying to do that, I would recommend doing a much simpler routine. Like I'm doing these 20 minutes every morning of just exercise, doing some push-ups, doing some stretching. That is so much better better if you want to focus on that. So I would really recommend that if you have school, do that, and then build up the career or business or whatever you want to have as your profession. Use your obsession to do that. And then once that's built up, replace it to be your profession, and then you can have a sport or going to the gym or something next to it, and then you can actually do that with focus. Because otherwise, in my experience, you end up overextending yourself, and you end up not getting the full reward of the things that you're doing, even though you are working hard. I'm sorry. Okay. The second piece of advice is to set 12-week years instead of planning in full like annual 12-month years. Plan in 12-week years instead. So only set goals 3 months in advance. What I mean by this is, in a year you have 4 3-month periods that you want to plan in and set goals in, instead of planning for the entire year, because that just becomes too unpredictable. Because for the first 3 months, you probably know pretty much what you're going to be working on, but you don't know how successful that work is going to have been. So for the next 3 months, for the next year, you have to just assume that you hit your goals, and then you have to make goals based on your assumptions from there. And then you have it, and then when you don't reach your goals, because you might miss something, you might have to reschedule something, you might have to rearrange something, and then the entire rest of this year is just wasted anyway. So what I recommend is that you split your year, and you consider 3 months a year. Every single 3 months. So January to March, for example, that's my 12-week year right now. And what I want you to do there is to not really set like result goals, because I'm doing this YouTube thing, and you can consider, okay, so I want to get to 500 subscribers. That would be awesome. But that is not the goal. That's not the goal that I've set. Right now, my goal that I have on my mind all the time is, this is the year where I become an excellent speaker. This is the year where I become excellent at teaching the things that I'm learning on YouTube. That's the thing that I'm focusing on. It's not to get a certain amount of subscribers, although I'm on pace to get quite a few. And to really move the bar here, but that's not the goal. The goal is to become an excellent speaker. That's why I'm focusing on storytelling, on giving better advice, on looking at like, what do other YouTubers do. That's why I don't edit my videos, because that would take focus away from what I want to do, which is just to speak. So I don't edit for a reason. I choose not to edit because I want to simply become a better speaker. I don't write like an entire script and like read out from a script, because I want to learn to improvise, and that's what I'm doing. I can actually show you my script here. This is the entirety of the script that I've written, and then I have these bullet points, so I know like roughly. So I know roughly what beats I need to hit throughout the video, but everything I say. I mean, it comes from me, and that helps so much with being authentic. And I actually have 2 tips for like people who want to go on YouTube. First off, tell a story about yourself. That is so powerful, telling a story about yourself, because that is always going to make you more authentic than just 5 tips to do this and then just go on about the tips. Tell a story about yourself. I make it point to tell at least 1 story every video. I had 2 pieces of advice, and I don't remember the second piece of advice. But tell stories. Sorry, man. So instead of setting these result-oriented goals of getting some amount of money or some amount of subscribers, or even instead of setting action-based goals, because that's also something that people talk a lot about. I do that too. I have a goal of uploading 1 video per day. That's a very action-oriented goal. But that is in support of the vision, which is just becoming an excellent speaker. And that's what I'm working on right now. So each 3-month period has like a theme, which is becoming an excellent speaker. becoming a bodybuilder, becoming a karate black belt. All things I want to do. I want to do. But let each 3-month period have this theme. And by the way, it can span more than 3 months. Just only plan 3 months at a time. So, for example, this becoming an excellent speaker thing has been going on since last year. So it's been a 6-month period, which is perfect. But only plan 3 months in advance, because that gives you so much more control over it not falling apart, because you're not planning as far ahead into the future. So set these identity goals. It's really something powerful. It's really a powerful thing you can do. Okay. Actually, I think I'm going to end it up here. I think that's plenty for this video. Thank you a ton for watching, honestly. I hope this helped you out. Get to it.